talking about right here on the 5. Remember Fast and Furious, that bumbled plan to track guns given to Mexican drug lords? Well, now we've learned that 3 ATF supervisors, 2 of whom have already admitted making mistakes in the plan, have been promoted by Attorney General Eric Holder. So, Kim, so far, at least 1 border agent dead, thousands of guns going to Mexican drug lords, 11 found at crime scenes, 11 new ones at least, and the Obama administration punished no one but promoted 3.
Absolutely. I mean, that's what you do. They're promoting them for when, in fact, they should be investigated and perhaps prosecuted. You have William McMahon, who is the ATF's Deputy Director of Operations in the West. He was promoted to Deputy Assistant Director of the ATF's Office of Professional Responsibility. I couldn't think of anything more unprofessional than what happened in this case. You also have William Newell. He was the field supervisor who actually oversaw the program out of the ATF Phoenix office, where we had so many of the problems in this particular case, and David Voth, who was also the field supervisor. The people who are directly responsible are promoted.
Right, they've admitted mistakes. Bob, here's a question, though. They brought 3 people. The big question is whether or not Eric Holder knew of the plan and whether it was going south quickly. He says he didn't. So here are 3 field supervisors who are now promoted, and guess where they're promoted? Washington, D.C., come on over here. We're going to keep an eye on you, boys.
Well, you know, you're assuming here that these people didn't have other good marks in their records, that this is a fail. I agree with you. It's a failed exercise, but there's a lot of those when you're trying to. And by the way, the idea, the guns were going to show up. The drug lords are going to get guns anyway.
So
let's just give them from us.
No, wait a second. I think before we all sit here and denounce these 3 people, who knows? These guys may have had a very stellar record. They may have caught a lot of people. They may have been shot in the line of fire. I mean, don't just take one example of this.
Fine.
And let's remember, I don't like to blame Bush for everything, but there was a Bush program like that.
Let me go to Dana then. But you hear it, Dana. These guys admitted under congressional oath that they made some mistakes in Fast and Furious. And the next thing, they're promoted. Is this tone deaf?
I'm not at all surprised, because this is how the federal bureaucracy works. I've seen it firsthand. The interesting piece, when Kimberly, you commented on the Office of Professional Responsibility.
Right.
What that really means is the ethical office, right? That's the check on ethics. If I were them, then Bob, they might have deserved promotion for other reasons. I still do not understand why there has not been an internal and sped up, expedited investigation so that the administration can get this behind them. It feels to me still like this slow burning scandal, and somebody is going to get burned.
Well,
go ahead.
It's amazing to me, like, how little traction this story's getting anywhere, because we were talking about this before. We were assuming that the debt ceiling talk and the downgrade was what kept this off the papers. Well, that's kind of gone. This thing is
ICE
bubbled up nowhere.
He'll probably stay on it.
ICE is investigating it, and let me tell you something. The mainstream media has been shying away from this story, and they shouldn't, because it's a huge story, and there's 1,418 guns that were circulating. And guess what? Well, we still don't know where they are, but we do know that a Border Patrol agent lost his life. There's been a number of other crimes, 11 different guns directly traced to violent crimes in other cities.
I'm glad you weren't prosecuting me the 4 or 5 times I was indicted. Listen, you know,
those are the only ones.
Let me just say one thing about these people who do these jobs at Border Patrol and ATF and other people. You know, these guys, I bet you not one of them, every one of them could get a job, make a lot more money than they do. You know, it's pretty easy to sit back and dump all over federal employees. Most of them get underpaid and they do a good job.
Not a single person at this table has dumped on any ATF
You just said, they said they made a mistake.
We're dumping on Eric Holder for promoting 3 people who made mistakes in a plan that killed at least 1, Kim.
Yes.
There's another border agent, Jaime Zapata, who may or may not have been killed by another one.
Did you say anything about the NASA people that were promoted when the Challenger blew up? I mean, what's the difference? There was a Challenger guy.
It
was an accident.
That was an accident.
Well, no,
it's a little bit different than.
No, that's wrong.
It's a bit different when you're actually trying to supply guns to dangerous people.
You were still a gleam in your daddy's eye when that happened.
I know.
I have no idea what happened with the Challenger.
I know you don't.
But this is like what the problem is. There isn't transparency. Oh, remember that was something else that we were promised. Let's go down the checklist. That didn't happen, and right now they're trying to cover up. Keep those guys there in D.C. under wraps. Bobby, not cooperating with subpoenas for the investigation.
The single most important thing in this drug war is to get to the root of where these guns come from, most of which come from gun sales in this country.
Dana,
and they're trying to trace it back.
Dana,
and if we weren't so lax on selling guns, it wouldn't happen as
Does-
often.
Am I the only person at this table that thinks it matters whether or not Eric Holder knew of the plan? And knew, if it
I think
was
it
failing
matters.
or not?
Raise my hand here.
I think.
Well, you're not the only one at the table, and you're not the only one in the Congress, and they need to get this behind them. If I were them, I would just come straight,
I think
rip the Band-Aid off.
I think it's
Islamophobia
all-
is far more a threat than this.
What is?
In Holder's mind.
All right.
In Holder's mind.
Holder's a great attorney general.
All right, coming up, a major break in the case of an American woman missing in Aruba. We have the latest on that investigation next on